and then we will take a close look on what's really going on the map as well.
So this is the first game of AM versus Secret in the East Asia ECL stage, and the 2v2 section anyway. And on the right side of the map, we've got Leary and MBL for AM. They're playing as the Chinese and Franks. And on the left side, we have Mongols and Chinese for the Viper and Doubt. What do you think about the Mongol versus Frank component of this?
Kind of tricky, right? You always have berries close to your town center, so I love to have Franks there. And as you can see, he already sends 2 villagers on the berries quite early on. But if we take a look at what's happening in the center of the map, so many deers here to be taken. So both strong choices. I feel maybe in the long run, especially in castle age, the Frank Knights could be a bit better than Mongols that lack a bit of the power spike in mid castle age.
Yeah, Franks have such a better transition, I think, than Mongols do. But at the end of the game, though, Mongols is a better composition than Franks, I think. So it's like they have different power spikes at each point in the game, right?
Yeah, but how
Mongols
many
are definitely
like?
quicker.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're at the start they're really good, right? So I love that as well. And yeah, you obviously wanted to mention the mango dice there, but well, how often do we see step games that go to 50 minutes and aren't decided yet?
Well, we saw earlier in the day, we saw Magadai from both teams, so maybe we'll get there. We'll see.
Okay. Okay, so Viper, the first one to up, will build the barracks kind of in the center of the map. Defensive woodline for him, quite far back, but it just could be somewhat exposed. We're expecting the typical scout and archer composition from both teams.
Mm-hmm. I find with this map, the more experienced players on it tend to protect their deer and expand, like build more mills than people who haven't played it so much. So I'll be interested to see who makes spearmen, keeps them like guarding their villagers at the mill. Or sometimes you'll even see small like walled in farming enclosures in the middle of the map because they really want to
Oh,
protect where their eco is. I saw AM
okay.
do that in one game and it was really effective.
Okay, I'm curious. By the way, very mixed strategy here from Team Secret. Viper went up with 16 villagers, Doubt with 22, so big difference there. Viper will have a lot of map control, probably will get a lot of focus on himself, and then Doubt will kick in with a very strong eco later on.
And Viper and Leary are really close to each other here.
First
Viper with a great
aggression.
early push with that scout. 16 villager up, and it's helping him out here.
Yeah, and just remember, since we are playing step and you only have a horse, not a real scout to begin with, the first scout is just so much stronger. But, well, you can easily get scared away by a spearman. Military count at the moment 4-1 at that single spot. Now 5-1. Lots of aggression here from Viper.
And Leary doesn't even have the archery range down yet. So a lot of delay. Very good strategy from Viper here.
Yeah, the very short distance really helping him out as well. Maybe Leary with going archers could have been a bit more defensively, but if we take a look at the map, there weren't that many good deers, at least to the left-hand side, maybe a bit more to the north, maybe closer to MBL, where the Viper's heading now.
So what is Doubt's plan here? Just wall himself in the corner and go archers?
Well, that's the Doubt thing to do, right? Second archer range, 5 gold, and just insult the opponent if you're getting doubled, or brag that you had the highest points at the end of the game.
So Viper, obviously, hopefully they're communicating. So Viper knows this. He's got to delay AM and make sure they don't hit Doubt while his walls are going down.
Well, it seems like he has to be, or he looks pretty safe. And you mentioned earlier, the experienced team is expanding quite nicely, is having a lot of control, and is building more mills. The Viper, I can already see 3 mills from him. Lovely abuse here of the Mongols' hunt bonus.
MBL out-popped right now in terms of scouts in the middle, but those are Frank scouts. And he's following up with a spear, so well played by MBL to try and get some free hits on those scouts there.
Well, but not too much happening. Leary kind of stabilized, but he only has 1 archery range. Now goes on to some spearmen. The Viper already with the +1 defense on the way here as well. That's quite nice and early. Bloodlines, very much out of the question, I'm saying, but he's already sending villagers on gold.
Yeah, Doubt's got to come over and help him, I think. I don't know how much damage he can do necessarily to Leary or MBL. I think he needs to come help Viper, especially since Viper has the +1. I think they can take that fight quite easily.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think Viper can take this fight alone if he needed to. I don't really understand why he's sending so many villagers on gold at the moment. Dropping some food to maybe get bloodlines. And, well, Doubt. I question why his fletching is so late. He has this blacksmith. Did he maybe forget about fletching? Leary has this for quite some time already.
It is Doubt. So.
Okay, not really sure. Well, is he already thinking about going to Carthage? He has a lot of farms, but no 50 food. Might just be missing fletching. That's a big hiccup by him.
Yeah, that's so strange. He must have forgotten. There, it's coming in right now. Okay.
Okay, you heard us. The Viper has fletching any second, and then suddenly he has the HP advantage compared to the Frank's MBL, who isn't going for that many scouts, I wanted to say, but is at 13 military as well. At the moment, the Viper with the lowest numbers, but with the best upgrades for himself.
Yeah, that is an impressive feudal army there from Viper. Quite a lot of scouts, bloodlines, and +1. I mean, MBL doesn't have enough spears to defend against that.
Oh, we'll see. Viper trying to micro some. We didn't see a lot of losses for quite some time. I think we will have combined armies and then maybe big clash with all 4 players coming our way.
Here comes Leary as well. Viper and Doubt definitely have the advantage here, though.
MBL no upgrades. Doubt has +1 defense, so heavy upgrades here from the secret team. And AM boys, well, they are falling back and they are split up here. I don't really like the position for AM. They need to go back. They cannot take any fights at the moment. Need to group up and fight together.
If MBL can catch Doubt out of position, maybe they can take this fight, but Viper's looping back around, okay? He's trying to cut off the archers coming from that archer range, get some free hits.
Did get 25 HP off that archer. Didn't really get any hits against himself and is now going back. This is kind of the calm before the storm here. Let's take a quick peek at resources. Who's maybe clicking up to Castle Age pretty soon? 300 food here for Doubt. Viper already at 600
Viper
food.
looking good.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. And using the market now. Leary with 600 food. Maybe 1 or 2 villagers more on gold could help out. MBL, he won't be too far off. So it feels like Viper might be the first. And the other 3 players following not too far after that.
MBL is also, looks like he's pretty scared of those scouts. He's dropping 2 towers on his woodline defensively. That seems really preemptive to me.
Yeah, and you don't really need that against scouts, right? He's maybe scared against the archers, but could wall the top so much easier as well. Even have some random house generations that are giving him some vision.
They have no idea where they are. They're hanging out near Leary's base. Viper scouts are just looping around that way. Doubt's archers are in Viper's base. Like, they have no idea where the enemy is.
Oh man, and that's never a really good sign, right? Now they see the scouts again. Might make them a bit happy. But well, still no idea about Doubt, who's now up to Castle Age as well. Very little losses thus far, very little eco damage. That's why we see so similar villager numbers as well.
Yep, MBL getting foraging now, and I think this is where it kind of sways to the advantage of AM, because MBL does have Franks and Viper has Mongols, and we were talking about it before. Like, Viper, I think, had the advantage in Feudal Age because he was quicker, but now with those Frank Knights and he gets the farming upgrades, I think it's swings to MBL's favor.
Yeah, I think so as well. And some people might make an argument, well, Viper has the option to go for camels, but well, camels won't perform too well in the 2v2 composition.
He's into Viper space before he can wall.
No, Viper around as well. We'll lose one villager quite easily. No reaction here from the Viper, and well, we didn't really talk about the pressure on both teams yet. Maybe we can do that in between the games. And well, what I want to say, camels, not a good option here, because we see such a big amount of archers, soon to be crossbowmen, dealing heavy damage against any camel numbers. Leary upgrading, Doubt still at home, Viper walling his TC in. Doesn't seem like a lot of losses, villager counts, so even military numbers. Well, Viper really falling behind. Goes for +2 defense, +1 attack. That's not really the strength of Mongols.
MBL's got to be careful here with these scouts. I think you can be really annoying with them, and I think losing them... Okay, he's pulling them away now. I think losing them would be quite bad, because he could harass Viper's eco and be super annoying with those.
Yeah, I think with those scouts and all those HP they still have, you could even make an argument for attacking Light Cav once your first night production is over. But now finally we see some raids against some villagers here in the center. And you said expanding is quite nice, but if you don't have the full map control anymore, then it gets tricky.
And Doubt going right for ballistics instead of adding those extra TCs.
I think he went for thumping as well, so full aggression from him. Viper dancing around as well. And we have solid numbers here, 33 crossbows from both sides. And Doubt, he's charging in, has all the upgrades now. Leary still lacking the +2 defense as well. Not sure about thumping on his side.
You know, Doubt's been getting upgrades, but he's been pretty hesitant to take fights. And is not really taking advantage of those upgrades yet. Viper's the one that's been charging in here.
Doubt now trying to go for some kills, but Leary's micro pretty solid here. Moves away, but he is getting some kills against Leary, and now the knights are closing down the distance. Leary with heavy losses, but Viper will lose all his knights in exchange for that.
MBL and Leary, they could trade okay here, but I think Leary probably needs to get out. Oh, he's gonna engage, okay.
Not a big fan of that apparently. Well, he cannot really move back, right? And Doubt now with the solid KAD here did eat quite a lot of those crossbowmen away. But as we said earlier, lots of eco for the secret guys. Sacrifice. Doubt still only on 1 TC. Viper is now building TC number 3 on the other side. We have 3 TCs soon for Leary and MBL. He has 3 TCs already running for himself.
Yeah, Doubt just got the second one up, so... I mean, it's a strong play to get the military advantage, but it definitely hurts your economy.
Maybe they feel with Mongols it's better to get into the long game, so they will just sacrifice a bit of eco, get a lot of castle pressure, and then guarantee themselves to get onto those elite Mangudais to carry them to the W. But they need to continue applying pressure at the moment. They cannot really find any loopholes here in Leary's defense. Leary now forced to build his defensive siege workshop. Viper with the kind of late wheelbarrow, but still in a reasonable timing. And yeah, what do you think? How will the next 3 to 5 minutes look like here?
It depends if Viper sticks... If Doubt goes too far in, he's in trouble. And Viper's gonna come support him now, okay. Because MBL had those knights just waiting for Viper's knights to leave, so he could trap the crossbows.
Oh, well, yeah. It is kind of dangerous territory. MBL now adding some more stables at this point. Viper stays on 2 stables for now. Numbers very high here for the Lord, but that's because he has 40 crossbowmen on the field. Quite a scary army if you look at the only 36 total military here for the AM boys.
Those are Frank Knights, though.
Well, Frank Knights and Mongol Knights in the end are the same, right?
Yeah,
if you have the same upgrades.
Bloodlines.
Okay, what else do we see? It feels like the secret boys are going back now. It kind of reminds me a bit of the 3-3 Arabia game against Suomi, the last stage. where they had big armies, didn't really go for the biggest engagements, danced a lot. And well, it feels a bit like Secret. They
Is
are
Viper coming
very
forward?
much... Oh, that's a lot of villagers. And that's a lot of stone for a castle, potentially. That could be some nice aggression. And,
On
well,
the
then I will
gold.
just take back what I wanted to say. Some raid in the back in the meanwhile.
If MBL's knights were in position, I think they could deny this castle, but he's in Viper's eco right now, and I'm not sure they can.
Didn't get that many. Some crossmen here at the front. One Mangonel of Leary. Kind of scary, but he's going back. Viper's now charging in at the front here. Viper's eco isn't looking too great. Oh, Woodlight! The Night Sign!
He tried to get that house wall down, but he just couldn't in the end, and he's gonna lose. He can't afford to lose these villagers.
Oh man, that's pretty ugly for him indeed. And well, he only has villagers that can actually fit into the TC and the ones at the front. So heavy loss for him, going down to 66 villagers. And what is this castle accomplishing? Not too much at the moment.
Yeah, and Leary's gonna click up soon. So if Leary gets a castle of his, well, he's not really, doesn't really have the stone for it, but if he gets a castle of his own, that one's gonna fall pretty easily.
Oh, look at that. Leary even deleting a farm to build a second good mining camp close by here. He really wants to get to that castle. And I assume he will get one out and will get trapped so much faster.
Okay, Viper's coming to support now. That looked like a risky engagement for Doubt, and Doubt can't afford to lose these before he gets to Imperial with the upgrades.
Oh, some mismicroing here. I don't really understand the first split by him, but it feels like all the upgrades are really paying off, having Thumpering here and doing quite a lot of jumping. He is getting a lot of kills, but obviously would have loved to wait to get them up to Arbalest, but they won the fight in the end with, well, somewhat of losses, but still enough to be scary once they get to Arbalest.
That was some pretty good micro after the first engagement from Doubt. He went all the way around the knights engaging from Viper, ring around the Rosie, targeting MBL's knights, and got away with like half his army there, which is better than I thought.
Yeah, and now Leary is the one overextending. Look at that. He is down one upgrade. Viper could maybe come around with some army, not the most important thing. And Doubt numbers are just so good here. Leary with heavy losses. I don't really know why.
Yeah, that seemed very unnecessary. Like, why?
Maybe MBL said, okay, I killed a lot of crossbows here. We can maybe get the kill here.
Viper.
Oh, okay, but that one shouldn't really go up, right? Mangonel around, crossbowmen, and they don't have any army presence here. I think that's it's a Doubt castle.
It's a little risky, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little risky.
With the zero army in vision of your opponent, a little risky. Oh, I don't really like that the Viper is going for fletching now and building Mangonels. I think rushing out an Imp could have been way more important. Leary will get his castle out, and well, the most important thing is how will MBL try to defend against the Arbalest now of Doubt, who's building an aggressive castle and more siege workshops. Doubt will pressure heavily here.
MBL's eco looking pretty good though. 97 villagers. He's got more vills than Doubt, and he's gonna be Imperial Age couple seconds now.
Let's see. Military numbers 23. Leary coming over. Interesting. Military numbers are just so sick. Look at that. 3 for the Viper, 65 for the Lord. And well, he's taking the fights. He will get chemistry shortly after Leary. Both lacking the last defense upgrade. MBL cannot even afford Cavaliers at the moment. So many farms idle.
There we go. Now Cavalier's coming in. Doubt's got to be careful when that Cavalier comes in that he doesn't lose his entire army. I hope he realizes that Leary's going to come over in this direction.
Well, Leary isn't the scariest thing, right? Good that he has a castle there. What can he do? Could he maybe switch into some halberdiers himself? Not sure what to advise him. Finally in for the Viper. Is he getting more castles up? One very far behind. Wants to get onto his higher numbers. Some more pressure. Just feels like doubt against Leary and MBL at the moment. Buying time for the Viper to get onto the transition and maybe get onto enough Mango Dice for later on. But then we have range against range Cavalier. Technically, AM with the better army composition, but if you lose all your farm eco before that, it's tricky to get onto Paladins.
It really sucks for Viper that, well, he did it to himself, but he's getting all the archer upgrades, and he's lost both of his production buildings for the Magadai.
Yeah, but one in the back now, not the highest numbers before that. Has 100 villagers though, and, well, goes on to some more stone. They're even starting to trade, found another stone spot there, so in the end, he can get onto more, but yeah, we heavily questioned both of his castles, especially for Mongols.
So MBL's been getting sling from, or a little bit of sling from Leary, and now he's clicked Paladin.
Oh,
And
boy.
he's saved all of these Cavaliers, and there's no way that those Arbalists can fight against that many Paladins.
Oh, yeah.
But MBL has to survive until that point.
Well, Doubt just had 90 military. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was looking for the stable he was actually researching Paladin in.
It's the back one. It's
Okay, thank
somewhat close. If honestly, if the TC dies, the Rams, they don't really know where to go.
Oh, it's only 40%.
This could be bad. 2 Rams, they're moving in.
They're coming.
Dave, hold my hand.
No!
This could be so good for Doubt. Oh, the
they're
Ram
hitting the farm.
focusing on the farm first. 51%. I think stable.
It's dead.
That stable is going down. Cavaliers
It's
are
a
moving
Doubt
in.
Paladin.
Maybe they're taking the fight before that though. Doubt not with the greatest placement. Even shooting one of the farms. Not really good. Getting back here in time. Chukanu production not really great. No elite Chukanu just yet. The stable will go
The Ram's gonna
down.
die.
Oh no, it's saved.
Oh my god.
500 HP on that stable left, all the Rams going down. It kind of costly timing for MBL, but Doubt maybe overextending a bit here.
Look at the Magadai
Chicken
in
news.
the back too.
Yeah, Doubt has been
Magadai in
so
the back of
active.
his base. Oh man, clearing up all of MBL's eco, Viper being so annoying. And Leary not really pushing Viper either, and now Viper has 2 castles
Okay,
making
well,
Magadai.
he will be set up somewhat, still lacking some gold. And, well, all the Mango Dice are trapped now. Oh, he has elite Mango Die already, so I missed that. Now the Paladin move in here. Can Doubt hold this off? He has some nice numbers for himself. MBL trying to get behind the army. Will he have the numbers? It looks okay-ish for them. Oh, Doubt, this is a tricky one.
This is super hard for Doubt to fight here. Especially the way MBL positioned himself was very, very nice. And Leary following up behind. Viper's not going to be there in time.
I think it was good enough for Team Secret. Honestly, every single Paladin going down now cannot really be replaced. Look at that, 60 villagers for MBL. He has 10 military, super far away from ever getting trade. At the moment, he has 2 TCs. One just finished. He lost us so much army at the frontier. Production, let's take a look at that. Well, 4 stables, 5 stables. That's still enough. He needs heavy, heavy sling from his teammate.
Mm-hmm. And Leary can't really afford to push Viper side either, because he's got to defend the MBL. And Viper now has 3 castles producing Magadai. It's going to get worse and worse for AM here.
Yeah, gets Masonry as well to get a bit more time. They're even starting the trade. Lots of stuff going right for him. Maybe lacking some archery range upgrades here for the Viper. Did he ever get an archery range? Okay, getting Thumpering now. And Patriot Tactics after that, I believe. But how can MBL ever get onto some population again?
That's a good question, because he has to keep producing Paladin. And I don't think Leary can afford to keep slinging him.
Leary cannot really take fights. I think he should just kind of camp at the moment. But then camping and it just allows more Mango Dice to be on the field. Looks really good for Team Secret.
It's nice for AM that the place where Doubt is pushing is so far forward. It's not even like it's at the halfway point of the map. So they've got space to lose before their trade line becomes endangered. They have a
Oh.
bit of time, but they need to
Could
make
you,
it count. And Doubt's extending
could you,
himself.
could you show me the trade light again?
Potential trade line, Nilly, come on!
Ah, okay, potential trade line. Now we're talking. Okay, in the meantime, we have Doubt getting some aggression against himself here. Rams are going down, Paladins at the right-hand side doing some nice clear up. Back to 27 military. Villager count went a bit down. Leary is helping out as good as he can. Doubt maybe lacking a bit of siege. Viper so annoying with his mango dice though, and maybe soon he will be the one building some siege as well, and then gets really tricky for Leary to defend.
Yeah, and Leary can't even defend against these Mangadai that are coming into his space right now. He tried to put down a gate. That won't last very long. I don't think he has enough Arbalest there to deal with them. Maybe chase them away, but not kill them.
For now he's trying to make his bigger range count. We'll lose some more villagers. Trade card is going down. He's trying to fortify himself a bit more. The smallish problem is also he's kind of stuck on Arbalest. Doubt already completely transitioned to Chukanus, which performs so much better against Paladins or Mango Dice.
Okay, so MBL's heading over to Viper's side with Paladins. And Leary actually has gold villagers north of those Mangadai.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know if they're going to survive very long.
Isn't that the spot where you maybe just right click on the mining camp and just pray that they will drop some gold off?
Yep.
The problem now, MBL, yeah, he's coming over. Let's take a look. Age of Gate Pyres. Oh, didn't really finish. And the thing is, Viper, he can just run. He doesn't mind the double. He is the one dictating fights.
And Doubt getting into the ideal Chinese composition. Chukanu, Bombard Tower, Siege Ram. And it's really tough to push this back if you're MBL.
Yeah. Kind of impossible. You need to get like 70, 80 Paladins again, but well, Mango Dice of Viper are now coming over. That's just beautiful team play. Viper's so active with all his Mango Dice now taking into Onages as well. That will be really tricky for Leary, getting some more raids at the front. The potential trade line is now becoming a real trade line, but it just feels like Doubt's push might be too strong.
Yeah, Doubt's going to lose quite a few Chukanu here, but with the Bombard Towers, they just provide that extra level of support against the Paladins. It just means MBL can't push farther than that area, even if he wins the fight.
Mango Dice in the center as well, and well, the GG here. Secret taking it. Leary and MBL, they built a lot of army in feudal age, couldn't really take the fights, and I cannot really tell how Doubt got onto so big numbers. The only guy playing like super defensively had an incredible eco, and yeah, just kind of carried by the very early time from Viper, and then Doubt's eco just pushed him to mass amount of Arbalests. Or what do you think?
Well, he was never touched. So, I mean, if this is your game plan all along, you go archers into Chukanu, or into Arbalest into Chukanu, and you set that up from the beginning and your eco's never touched, I guess you can... Everything went as planned.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a beautiful game for kind of everyone, right? You just build one unit, not getting attacked. Your teammate is doing a lot of aggression, pulling armies away from you. Yeah.
I feel like MBL in the Castle Age didn't make enough knights. I think he didn't make enough. He prioritized eco too early, and then they couldn't take the engagements against the number of crossbows that Doubt had with the upgrades.
Yeah, both of us didn't really understand the 2 defensive towers by MBL as well in his woodline, right? Did send some villagers on stone. He could have walled a bit easier at the top. And yeah, if they had a bit more map control, he could have had 3, 4 more villagers working on other stuff as well.
I agree.
Let's take a look at the achievements. And is that between game standings, waiting screen, statistics, right? Yes, right overlay. Proud of myself. So, What should I take a closer look at it? 88 largest army for doubt. That's strong. Already starting to trade. MBL was a bit later there, and well, doubt with all the gold income. Massive amount of stone for Viper, who lost quite a bit of castles, but still got onto quite solid numbers for himself. 6 castles in total, 147 villagers. MBL never really reached pop limit here.
It was a good job from Viper to soak up that damage that MBL did, and then his eco just bounced back so fast from that. Like he was 20 villagers behind at one point, and then 5 minutes later he was 10 villagers ahead of Leary.
Well, yeah,
So,
he completely
well
stopped building army at the same time though. Yeah. And just let Doubt do his stuff with all his paladins.
That's probably part of the plan though.
Yeah, yeah. They kind of switched each other. Like at the very start it was the Viper, then they had both armies, then Viper at early castle, and then basically Doubt late castle, early imp, till elite Mangodai, and then finish it off. So I'm ready actually. So I will type that in chat. And then we are jumping into game number 2, Mount Fuji.
We're turning Japanese, guys. That's the song we need to play.
Then I will let you do the introductions again.
Welcome everyone to game number 2 of the 2v2 stage of the East Asia ECL section bracket, whatever you call it. On the left-hand side, we have the AM team, who's down a game and need to win this one to take it to game 3. They are playing as the Mayans and Indians, and it is Leary and MBL. On the right-hand side, we have Viper and Doubt also playing as Mayans and Indians. What do you think about this map, Nilly?
In general, Mount Fuji, it feels like sometimes you can have really unfortunate gold spots. Look at Leary, for example. He has a defensive gold spots. None of the other players can really say that of themselves. Viper, very open gold spots, all of them in the center. So I feel it is really tricky to control gold spots. And this honestly might be one of the best maps I've ever seen here for Leary, that he has such a beautiful gold spot and he can really make something work with not taking too much damage here.
And I think did he signal his gold spot as well? I think
it feels like it, right? Maybe he was so proud. Like, look at that. Nearly might even comment on that, how good that gold is.
They're thinking the same thing as you, like, oh man, this is a treat. We get Mount Fuji and actually have a safe gold. That might dictate what his strategy is going forward in this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes like Drush FC in this one. Doesn't really have a good stone spot though. Yeah, crossbows I heard are a pretty good unit.
I mean, Drush FC with mines is usually pretty strong. It's a solid strat.
Yeah, usually love to go for plumes. I don't really see that happening though. We will see. Also had some good deers, and we will take a close look. Very likely that we will see on the other side a scout rush from, well, those Indian players. Viper's map. He has defensive stone here, and we mentioned open gold spots. You kind of need to progress in the center area and get more access to all those extra gold spots and stone spots, and obviously the small hill. But yeah, kind of what we saw on step already, we're expecting.
Look at MBL being so annoying. He knows Viper wanted to drop a house, so he's running his scout over where the house foundation was. And it just delayed Viper an extra second. I love saying that.
Okay, and look at, that's a weird scouting by him. He's just instantly going back again. He will push deer. He just wanted to scout who he is against. And instantly ran back. That's kind of surprising to me. Normally you want to scout like gold spots, wood lines, and then decide your strategy. maybe see, okay, he has a super open map, he needs to play this or that, or at least this strategy isn't happening. But he just wanted to see who he's up against.
So what do you think? What do you think the Viper does here in this situation with his safe stone and forward gold?
I wouldn't advise him, but that looks pretty much like a Drush FC to me.
Does he go into crossbows or does he go into plumes though?
If he has that stone, he has to go into plumes.
Yeah. The only problem is if MBL somehow denies the gold, he's out of luck basically.
Yeah,
But
and that's why I wouldn't advise him for that. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're on stone though, I guess you can take back the gold. If MBL like towers it, you can always castle it, but it's
I
rough.
think Viper might be somewhat playing the opponent as well. When did we ever see MBL going like full YOLO forward with a good civ like Indians in those situations? Basically never, right? If he was against maybe like Back T, I think Viper would have played way safer here and wouldn't go for this most likely Drush FC play here.
Yeah, it's pretty much 100% Drush FC here. There's no, he's not clicking up yet, so he's not planning on man-at-arms. Walling up, even milling the deer. He wants to play it safe.
No. Yeah, it's still. If he got some aggression against him, but also if he's just playing against Indian scouts, it is somewhat easy to just wall the front and be safe, right? But where is he building his mining camp? I kind of wouldn't be surprised if he's just deleting that one house.
Well, he's making so many as part of the wall. You might as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure it frustrates him that his gold was in the position it is.
Yeah.
He built that starting house on reflex, and there he goes out to the stone. So definitely Drush FC into plumes.
Yeah. And we see Drush FC from Leary as well, but most likely into Crossbowman because his stone is just so much weaker. Meaning that we will have earlier military from Leary, but in the end stronger one from the Viper.
And Doubt actually got denied off his barracks.
Yeah, and now sends two villagers from the side.
He deleted his it was at like 98%. Why delete it? What, you're gonna save 10 wood? What?
He's filling it in the back now, and well, make sure to close the gate here. Oh yeah, that rush is super efficient by Leary at the moment. Doubt he will lack some military, so it will be massive control here for AM running under TC. That's a lot of hits though. Leary taking quite a lot of losses here, at least when it comes to HP. Actually, those have way more HP than I thought. The arrow's not really hitting, and well, loses one in the end.
I think well, part of the Drush is just delaying, right? And look at how much idle time he's causing and annoyance he's causing Doubt here.
Yeah, MBL now coming over with his scout. Doubt, let's take a look at the resources, the HP on his villagers. Losing one.
It's worth it then. If you get one villager with a Drush, and he got the
is
scout
going down
too.
as well. Oh, that's brutal. That's just brutal. Put some random houses in the back. Has a defensive mill as well. And Doubt, he will have very little map control. The Drush of Viper didn't do that much in comparison. And oh, yeah, we saw the Viper deleted that house. Great move. Really like that. Just so much safer to take gold from like closer to your TC instead of having the mining camp more towards the wall and then the villagers a bit more exposed. Still the big question, how will Doubt kind of stabilize here? Because those crossbowmen at early Castle Age, they could get nasty.
Yeah, you can mass them way quicker than the plumes. And you can mass them as you're going up to Castle Age as well. So Leary's going to have the initial advantage, but of course plumes are just, well, you know what plumes can do.
Yeah, probably one of the most cost efficient units in the game, and in Castle just so easy to micro as well. And yeah, you said that correctly, crossbow numbers. It kind of feels like, how many crossbows can you have? Like 8 to maybe even 10 before the first plume is coming out? So
yeah, and you're gonna have the the TCs up quicker too, because you don't have the vills on stone and you don't have the idle time building the castle either.
Yeah. Well, we will see. I really fear for Doubt. His walls not too great. Gold
Give me 1
control.
second, Dilly. I'll be right back.
Okay. Gold control somewhat non-existent here. Look at that. Hate those walls. If we had the barracks up here, it could have made a bit more sense. But a single crossman can deny all that. And now goes for the market. Don't tell me he's slinging. Oh no, that's just so bad. Why did he build the market here? MBL instantly spots this. Should probably communicate this is going to happen. Defensive Tower of Doubt, I really love that. And, well, now the strategy is kind of known, I'd say. It has to be a sling from Doubt.
If it is a sling, that's going to be really tough for MBL to stop. Or does Viper even go to MBL? Does he push Leary if it's a sling?
I think he needs to save Doubt first. There's not enough defense at the front. Those crossmen are now moving out. Scouts of Doubt are doing 0. And Viper, well, even if he gets 2 resources, I think this will be rough. But for now, Doubt is just showing the market. Maybe he doesn't go for the sling. No, he didn't sling any resources
by now, if he was slinging, right?
Or maybe the second tower is buying some more stone for himself. Is he building a tower there at the front? Okay, that's actually a beautiful move. That's probably the most vulnerable spot he had. That's such a clever tower.
Yeah, and the tower by the gold is a great preemptive tower as well. So there's not really many places Leary can hit here. Unless Doubt forages those berries, which I don't think he's going to do anytime soon.
Yeah, maybe send 3 villagers to the front to get the 21 food of those berries. But well, it's now in range of the tower. Can they be annoying close to the gold? Not really. This becomes a boom game. And then...
So now the power spike of Leary going for those extra crossbows, it's kind of been nullified here, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Doubt with the tower defense.
Yeah. That's also true. And we said this is the tricky timing. Viper has his castle up now. Yeah, he's behind in villagers. Eco should be better for AM again. But, well, it's so easy for AM to overproduce army here. If you think about it. MBL, he has 2 stables. Already stonewalled a bit out front. So his boom won't be the greatest ever. And Leary only added 1 TC as well. I think they need to go into heavy booming here. And then try to have an advantage early imp.
Where do you hit here if you're AM? Like where do you go?
Well, it's all pretty well walled up, right? Left hand side for Viper, we see some palisade walls. You could have maybe, if you wanted to be super sneaky, like tower hops, not really palisade hop, some at Doubt space, but then you need to go through the TC. I think they didn't really have a good choice, and that really shows you how well Viper and Doubt read their maps, how well they could defend this.
So 3rd town center coming down from Leary, but I think Viper is gonna maybe make his 3rd soon as well. So the castle not setting him back too much.
Uh-oh! I just saw something on the overlay. MBL slinging Leary now. They like AM still doesn't know if Doubt is slinging or not, right? They saw the market, they saw 2 defensive towers, so they might think Viper is just on the way to imp as well. They didn't see any plumes. They have very little intel. And AM, well, yeah, they are showing all their cards. They're showing the scouts, they're showing all the upgrades on them as well. Did show the crossbowman, so Secret knows.
I like how MBL made the 2 stables, but then when he realized that they were fully walled and that mass and camels wasn't necessarily going to work, he just kind of switched his strategy on the fly.
Yeah,
It's a nice
and
thing to see.
still show 2 camels and the bloodlines and +1 defense. So the Viper, he kind of has to be convinced. Oh god, this guy, he's trying of, yeah, kind of going for some aggression, which he isn't.
I think both teams are trying to figure out the strategy of the opposing team currently. Like, it's not clear for anyone what's going on.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of RTS, right? You cannot see everything. You need to adjust as good as you have intel. 2 extra TCs here for Doubt. He will go for the full boom. Leary, heavily on stone, will get his castle up. Only at 3 TCs at the moment. But he might get a castle up in the center area, and then he has control over so much stone here on Mount Fuji.
Yeah, he's pushing it a bit forward, so he's going to have 2 stone piles and a couple gold piles within range of that castle, but I bet you the second castle he puts up is right up on that hill there. So he'll slowly push forward and secure map position.
Don't you think that castle could have been more aggressively? They had so many crossbowmen here.
Yeah,
22
he doesn't, but
crossbowmen.
he probably doesn't want the plumes running in behind the castle to hit his eco, right? If you put
Okay.
it there, at least it's like vice between the TC and the castle where Viper has to run.
Okay. Well, Doubt, by the way, also slinging some dance here by MBL, trying to dodge the shots, but couldn't dodge all of them. Both having ballistics here, Leary and the Viper. Thing is, Leary now needs to transition away from his kind of arbalest tech. He needs to get onto plumes as well. I will change the overlay so that you can see how many resources we are already seeing slung here. MBL close to 3k, Doubt close to 2k.
I like how Leary's already making outposts and starting to stonewall farther out from his base, securing that map position. I'd love to see a team wall come up for both teams at this stage of the game.
Somewhat of a similar timing here between Leary and Viper as well, I'd say.
Somewhat.
Somewhat. And, well, the big question now is, how will they continue this? It's basically like a Mayan mirror match now. You're just getting slung by kind of similar ecos here, 61 to 63 villagers, and well, we all know how that goes. Massive amount of plumes, add some siege ramps, and it's basically outmassing your opponent.
Yeah, and Viper's got the plume mass right now, and Leary's gonna have to spend resources on upgrading to Arbalest too, which is something that Viper does not have to do.
Does he? Arbalest? Yeah, probably want to tech to Arbalest, but doesn't make me super happy.
You kind of need to, though, if you have 30 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's true. Thing is, Viper, with his position, it's just so much easier for him to attack the Slinger MBL than at the moment it is for Leary to attack Doubt.
MBL needs some extra defenses here, whether it's even a few towers or a siege workshop or something. Because once Viper's in, if he gets in, it's bad news bears for MBL.
Well, he has 3 TCs for himself. Oh no, 2 TCs for himself. And a defensive tower. Can save some of those. Try to move out with 1 villager. Getting a monastery up here didn't really happen. And, well, both teams trying to get some intel here. The sling continues. Leary, the first one to go onto Rams, and Mayan's wars often are decided by the amount of Rams, not by the amount of plumes. Elite plume for both, chemistry for both, way better numbers here for the snake. Has roughly 6 more military and
Rams
just
are
so
coming,
much
though.
better ones.
Rams are on the way.
Yeah, but the numbers are a bit too low, in my opinion. Viper can still micro just the crossbowmen and the plumed archers down. But yeah, he sees, okay, that's a scary force. Let's fall back, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had some siege workshops himself now.
And Leary's slowly making that line of castles towards the middle. It's going to be tough for Viper to push that position. But it's also tough for Leary to push Viper's position once he gets that castle up. on the middle of the hill. It's kind of it's a mirror between these two, and they're just ignoring the flanks.
Yeah, well, kind of makes sense, right? If you get the other Plumed Archer player down in numbers, you kind of won the game. And if you raid some, but your army is losing in fighting power, and you didn't gain too much.
So Leary's getting more sling from, like, more resources in the bank from MBL. And Doubt's building up his eco. So when does that shift?
Well, what's the difference for now? Resources received actually is only 500 better for Leary. So at the moment, well, if the secrets are buying a bit of more time for themselves, I think it's so much better for them now. With 20 more villagers on the side.
Why is it so low, the sling from MBL, when his villager count is so far behind Doubt? Is it just those few camels that he made?
Well, there's some camels, right? Bloodlines, +2 defense. Well, I think he only did +1 defense, right? Lost some villagers, walled a bit more. And, well, Doubt is now kicking in with better numbers. Siege-Ram against Siege-Ram. The kissing begins pretty soon. Military numbers still way better for the Viper, who's now even getting some raids in at the left-hand side. Beautiful move. MBL now switching to Imp here. Why?
I guess he figures he needs to be in the game, and look at all the siege workshops that Viper's put forward, and Leary's just built castles. And he's got to be really careful here, because if Viper can produce out of all those siege workshops, those castles are not going to last very long at all.
Oh, Imperial camels will be added by MBL. Honestly, I think that's a big mistake. I think you just need to go for massive amount of plume ram here. Those camels, it will just take way too long till you get to the numbers. Doubt is going up to Imp now as well, though, so maybe both of them are proving me wrong. And, well, both slum guys have 90 and 106 villagers. That's kind of okay for Mayans here. We don't really see too many raids. Leary trying to spread some off. But that's a scary push through the center from the Viper.
Yeah, the Ram's coming forward, and Leary doesn't really have much of a response to that, does he? He's going to lose at least a castle here, if not all three.
Yeah, all three is basically game then. How are the military numbers so out of this world? 90 military here against 45, and well, Rams are not really doing the damage. Seems like Leary splitting off some plumes didn't really help him out either. Leary needs to fall back. Imp Camel switch isn't really coming in time. Even going for Hazas here, or what is that? Yeah, even Hasa attack for MBL, that's even doing less.
That's really strange that he would tech into Light Cav. Why? Is he just trying to be a counter to the Rams? The plumes are going to kill those Light Cavs so fast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is simply feels wrong. If you just send those on wood, maybe he felt like he didn't have enough control over his gold spots, as we mentioned earlier. But still, like, then Leary needs to expand and get the gold spot in the center, and you just need to sting him with wood that he can get more Rams. Now it feels really GG.
Yeah, and MBL's only got those two stables in the back, and look at what Doubt has in the center here. He's going to have enough camels once he gets up to Imperial Age. He's going to tech up right away.
Yeah, he has the resources as well to tech to Imp Camels any second after that. Upgrade obviously takes some time, but that should be fine. Leary, well, he's holding for now, but only at 2 castles. The Viper at 3 at the moment. MBL's KD doesn't make me too happy either.
It's not the greatest.
Okay, so what can Leary really do? On its attack, not really an option. MBL did 1 mangonel. Let's take a look at that shot. Didn't even kill a single plume. Lost his life in exchange. Castles are getting pressured. Leary, he needs to get really creative really fast.
They might call it GG as soon as they see these camels coming in. Once Doubt gets heavy camel with that, that's really tough for MBL to get out of his base as well.
Yeah, it's simply no gold control for them. Trade is not really running, and well, it just feels like if Leary loses this castle, it might be over. Heavy camel upgrade now finished. Imp Camel could be around the corner here for Doubt. Let's take a look. Yeah, upgrading that, and That should just shrek Leary, and the GT timing is very near.
There it is. Well played by Secret. I think Viper, they were up to imp at the same time and similar resources. Viper obviously had an advantage because he went into plumes earlier. He had a higher population, but I think the way that he built out his production buildings was smarter than the way Leary did it. Leary had 2 castles on the hill, no siege workshops. Viper had 5 siege workshops on the hill with his plumed army behind. So he had the rams out in front, and Leary had to go all the way up the hill with his rams to get them into the fight.
It just was so weird. Like, Doubt kind of showing the market, kind of expecting the sling, and, well, crossbow scout couldn't really do the damage. Very clever tower number 2 by Doubt, saving him here, and Viper with the kind of good map. Maybe a bit more pressure early on. If Leary, for example, went for Viper instantly, early castle, they could have denied maybe that castle, blocked that gold spot, and could have been really, really annoying against Viper. But yeah, distances are long, it's a long risk. It's tricky. And map's too good, and that's what you mentioned earlier. No real intel for both teams. Kind of a gamble.
Mm-hmm. And Secret played it. I think AM was trying to catch up to Secret's strategy that entire game, and Secret was just following their game plan. So you never want your plan dictated to you by the other team. And that's what happened.
Oh. Fields AM man. And we are taking a look at the statistics. MBL, well, he got some more kills in the end. And Viper just better KD there against Leary. Also got some kills against MBL. Let's take a look. Overall sling, very even. So that wasn't really the deciding factor. It was simply that the Viper just had some more gold control compared to Leary and got his resources a bit better on the map there with the early rams and simply more efficient plumed archers early on.